Excellency President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovind ji, my colleague Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti ji, Secretary, Ministry of Food Processing, Shri J.P. Meena ji, Mr. Rakesh Bharti Mittal, President Designate, Confederation of Indian Industry, Excellencies and dignitaries, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to have amongst us today the Honorable President of India, and I extend a personal welcome to him. Sir, your presence here imparts a very special value to the food processing sector and especially to the first ever event hosted by our country in the food processing sector, World Food India 2017. I'm grateful to you for being here and encouraging us with your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, at the conclusion of a very successful and vibrant World Food India 2017, I'm happy to say that collectively we have managed to put India on the map of the world, where the future is going to be making India the global food factory. If we have a start which is like this, this is just the start. I used to tell people when I travel across the globe that come to World Food India 2017, and they said that when was the last time this fair happened? And I told them that it's the first time it's happening. Most people were a little wary as to it's the first time it's being hosted. Is it going to be good enough for us to attend? Because in the world, the two big fairs which are actually known in the food sector is Sial in France and Anuga in Germany. And when I first attended those, it gave me a vision for my own country as well. I have learned from my honorable father-in-law, Sir Prakash Singh Badal, and my husband actually, to always aim really high. And then when I came to work under the visionary leadership of the dynamic Prime Minister, I understood that how to aim really high and work really hard, you can actually achieve more than you can even envision. And I'm happy to say here today that when we started off 1 year ago envisioning World Food India, yes, we had a vision, we had a hope, we had a dream. But today when I see the third day and the way this event has turned out, I must say that it has not only surpassed all our expectations, but I'm sure everybody who has come here will admit that they've never seen a show like this before. I'm grateful to each and every one of those who have made this into a reality. The aim of this World Food India was very clear. When we took over this ministry, I realized that this government had taken over a huge task. We had actually set a target, and the target was to double our farmers' income. These hard-working farmers who toil tirelessly day and night and actually produce the largest amount of food in the world for this to feed the second largest population. Coming from the state of Punjab, where I see the way our farmers work, and a state which is known as the food bowl of our country, just 2% of the land but feeding this 1.3 billion population, contributing over 40% to the food bowl. I realize that the farmers' plight indeed had a lot of potential if we were to focus towards food processing. There's no doubt that this sector has the potential to address key issues that face our nation today, be it doubling farmers' income, be it generating employment, as this sector is one of the highest generators of employment, and most importantly, whether it's reducing wastage, which is a huge concern in a country whose population grows every year. The land to grow food is shrinking every year. So as the mouths to feed increases every year, a zero tolerance for food wastage is a must in that country. The food processing sector, despite all kinds of challenges, has been growing faster than agriculture and manufacturing. But yet, despite being one of the largest producers of milk in the world, the second largest producers of fruits, vegetables, cereals, marine, we process only 10% of what we produce. Many small countries process 70–80% of what they produce, and these countries are way smaller than ours. And I feel somewhere that wastage was due to the low processing levels. So it was time that India worked towards increasing our processing levels. One of the biggest drawbacks for the low processing level was the lack of infrastructure. Over the last 3 years, the government worked hard to create an environment for this sector to flourish, to ensure grounding of food processing infrastructure. We came up with many policies under the dynamic vision of the Honorable Prime Minister and with the support of the Finance Minister. As soon as the government was formed, the first year itself, we put up a 2,000 crore corpus in NABARD to give cheaper credit to the food processing industry. After that, be it the mega food parks of my ministry or the cold chain or the various other schemes, all the other policies of duty drawbacks or excise or custom duty concessions, we worked hard to get the best concessions and put up as much infrastructure as we could. Once we were creating the infrastructure and the infrastructure was on its way to being created, we decided it was time to now open up the markets as well. And last year, the government took a very important decision to allow 100% FDI and multi-brand retail of food made and manufactured, produced and manufactured in India. I was happy to see that once the farmers are doing their job, the infrastructure is coming up, the markets are being created, I think the platform was ready. And with the announcement of these policy, we saw a 40% increase in the FDI which came in the food processing sector from last year to this year. It gave me the strength and gave us all the vision and the hope that if we were to create a platform where we could get all the stakeholders of the entire food value chain at one place, India was ready to take off and take over the world. We aim at becoming the global food factory because I believe that we have the potential. I believe we have the potential because I think that there are many countries, the progressive and the advanced countries, who have reached their potential. Their markets are either saturated or stagnant. They have achieved in terms of agriculture with scientific and modern technology, the peak of what they can achieve. But in a country like India, where we just process 10%, where we have huge amounts of potential where our yields are concerned, I often think that if we control our wastage, bring that down to zero, if we increase our yields, we will definitely be ready to become the global food factory and actually be able to feed the entire globe. So keeping this in mind, we decided to hold World Food India, which brought together the entire value chain of stakeholders under one roof, from progressive farmers to technology suppliers, to retailers, to processors, to machine manufacturers, to testing, any kind of thing that you can imagine what goes from farm to fork, they all came together at this World Food India. And the aim of all this was absolutely clear. We have to work hard to increase the food processing sector, because this is a sector whose raw material is the farmers produce. I firmly believe the more this sector progresses, the more will be the demand of the farmers produce. And not only the demand, but like the food processing industry, which acts like a bridge between the farmer and the consumer, this industry will handhold and uplift our farmers. So right from ensuring that this platform provided new markets, new growth opportunities to stakeholders across our country and across the globe, a platform where we could showcase to the world at large the demand-driven market that India gave to them, a platform that was inclusive for large and small industries, for farmers, for women entrepreneurs, as well as for large corporations, a platform that provided an opportunity for collaborations amongst all the stakeholders that would bring in investments, technology, and innovation, and most importantly, something which was very dear to me, that propagated an idea that I live by, that we all need to come together to reduce food wastage, and also firmly establish India as the spot where the World Bank calls us the one bright spot in the global gloomy economy. I hope that the Indian food processing sector is going to be the bright star shining in that global map. The state governments played a very important role. All our partner countries or our honorable delegates who came here, all the participants played a very important role. All of us collectively, I'm happy to announce that over these 3 days, which is not up yet because there's plenty more that's going to happen during the day today. But we had close to 8,000 business-to-business, business-to-government meetings. More than 10,000 participants attended all the conferences and the seminars which took place. We signed almost 50 memorandum of understanding, and these are not, ladies and gentlemen, just pieces of paper that we have signed. I want to reiterate over here, each and every one of these memorandums that was signed, there has been a lot of homework which has gone into it, and there is going to be a lot of work which is going to get done after tomorrow onwards, because World Food India, the exhibition, the event may end today evening, but actual work for our ministry and for all the stakeholders is going to start as of tomorrow, when we have to ground each and every one of these 50 investments. So I'm happy to say 50 MOUs were signed worth $11.25 billion, which is close to almost 74,000 crore rupees. Additionally, there were many state governments who over the last 3 days, 2.5 days at the moment, have done a lot of business as well. And there were almost $2.5 billion worth of MOUs have been signed between stakeholders and state governments as well. So when we add it all together, what business the states have done, what business the MOUs that we have facilitated, these total up, along with what the ministry is going to be spending on infrastructure as well. I'm happy to announce $18.84 billion US, which I don't even know how to calculate what it totals in terms of rupees, but all I can say that when the grounding of these almost $19 billion happens within 2 years, we are committed that as soon as tomorrow onwards we get down to the ground to ensuring, and for that I want to ensure the delegates here as well, many of you who are the ones who also signed the MOUs with us. There has been a special cell created in West India. A dedicated team has been put in place to follow up each and every one of these MOUs. We've got knowledge partners who are going to work with the ministry to ensure hand-holding and facilitation between state governments, center governments, and between the people who have signed the MOUs, as well as the ministry itself. And I myself am going to personally monitor, because I always said earlier, for me, World Food India event was the beginning, it's the grounding, and that's what we are going to measure our success by. So we're committed to bring in each and every one of these investments. I'm happy to say that Maharashtra and Telangana, we're working towards coming up with a model food processing policy for entire India, but Maharashtra and Telangana actually announced their food processing policy, and I hope the other states will follow soon as we pass the food processing policy and create an environment where there's Honorable Prime Minister has brought in one nation, one tax. We hope to have one policy throughout our country, so it makes ease of doing business a reality for all our investors as well. There are some states who have done exceptionally well. I'm happy to announce that Punjab and Haryana got the bulk of the investments of this $2.5 billion which came in at the state level. I'm happy to say that out of the countries where the most MOUs were signed and announced, USA announced the maximum, UAE, which is a big food importing nation, we're very happy to say they announced a big amount, Germany, Netherlands, France, all these countries came together, and what makes me really happy is that food processing sector is the one that got the bulk of all these investments, as did beverage, cold chain, logistics, wholesale, retail, e-commerce, bank and financial institutions, organic and natural farming products, cereals, dairy, all these sectors have got an immense response from this fair and out of these MOUs. Well, I can only say at the end that we cannot have made this happen without the active help of many, many people who were involved throughout this hard work over the last 1 year that we did. I'd first of all like to thank my colleague Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti ji, who was always by my side supporting me in every way. And without her support, I'm sure I would not have been able to do as much as I had aspired to do. And if there's one person who made this entire thing come together, I would really like you to give a big hand for my secretary, Mr. Meena. He actually came into the ministry as secretary and took charge when we were just a couple of months before World Food India and put everything in place. I can't thank you enough, Meena Saab. Ye aapke bina ye aaj sambhav hona hi nahi tha. You get a big hand of the credit. And along with him, I must mention my team of officers. If they're anywhere here, please do stand up. Anuradha ji, Gangwar Saab, Parag Gupta, and that's Anuradha ji, that's Gangwar Saab there. Mr. Parag Gupta has come down with conjunctivitis, but if you're watching Paragji, we're remembering you. And I must thank my own staff as well, my PS Hardeepji, if you're anywhere over here. He, I think, slogged after me, I think, as hard. I dumped everything on him, and probably he actually, during these preparations for World Food India, his heart collapsed and he had to have 2 stents put because he said the kind of pressure I gave him. So, so that's how hard a taskmaster I was. Anyway, I must thank CII, our event partner, and if CII is here, Mr. Mittal, not just you and Mr. Banerjee, I cannot forget you, but if Charu is here. Are you here, Charu? Well, a big hand for her, even if she is not here. She's another one who bore the brunt of all my anger whenever things would not go, but she worked really, really hard, as did the entire CII team, each and every one of them. I must thank our knowledge partners, KPMG, Ernst & Young, who really worked really hard, and especially I would say KPMG, Mohit stands out for the kind of work that he did. I must thank Yes Bank. I must thank Invest India team, who was always there by our side. And I must specially thank each and every one of those who have not named here today, because there's so many, right from that entire team, the social media team, the PR team, and all those junior senior officers in all these various people that I have mentioned who really slogged it. This really would not have come together. This is the first time in 30 years this ministry has ever put up anything like this. But everybody, I think, worked as if it was their own event. And it's this team spirit which has come across, which has made all this possible. And I'm looking for again, this team spirit to actually make the grounding happen so that we can stand up and say 2 years from now that we dreamt to make a difference in the lives of farmers, in the lives of the small traders, in the lives of the people of India by ensuring safe, quality, safety, hygienic food at reasonable prices, reducing wastage and taking our country ahead. And I hope this team works as hard to ensure that we can 2 years later say we decided to do it and we have done it. So in conclusion, while I thank everybody, all the participants who've taken the trouble to come here, all the ministers, all my partner focus countries, each and every one of you who believed us when we asked you to come here, I can assure you we'll make this worth your while. You'll go back taking back a piece of India with you. And I hope you have heard about the khichdi, because it's created a huge amount of interest not only in India. The humble khichdi has actually broken an international record. I was telling my minister, I hope they don't start calling us khichdi mantris, कि जहाँ 2 औरतें इकट्ठी होती हैं तो खिचड़ी तो पकनी थी, लेकिन खिचड़ी पकाई भी, इसको अंतरराष्ट्रीय दर्जे दिला के वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड भी ब्रेक किया और दुनिया भर में अब धूम मचाएंगे हिंदुस्तानी खिचड़ी का. The 7 ancient traditional grains of India, grown in each and every corner of India, comes together in one big khichdi which has broken the world record. And when the world talks about khichdi, they will talk about these ancient grains of India. And when the demand for those grains increase, it's our farmers who are going to benefit. So I hope each and every one of you take back a little bit of India. And let me tell you, the new super health food, when nothing else works, in this 1.3 billion population, any corner of the country, if your body cannot take in anything else, it's this humble khichdi which nourishes you back to health. So why not this khichdi be the nourishing factor which not only binds humanity, binds nation, but actually nourishes all those malnourished and underprivileged across the globe. So I thank you all for being here. I thank you all for the support. I thank the Honorable President, and especially we cannot thank the Honorable Prime Minister enough, who had faith in us, who gave us the flexibility, gave us the vision, and then gave us the full support to let this happen. And in the end, I would just like to end by saying that World Food India, for the first time, 2017 you saw. Believe me, when we come back with WFI 2019, it's going to be even bigger, even better, and even more successful. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.